So here we are in a classroom for the part 2 of the open house. I'm here with Lucie Dusauge and Ignace Carouz from Lebanon. They were BFA 2 students last year. They're currently in their 3rd year of the bachelor's, and they've spared a little bit of time to talk to us about the project that they did during production period. Now, one thing that our students are really curious about is this idea of the production period, like the fact that in the 3rd term we break from classes and we essentially produce films that are prepared during the year. So I have a few questions prepared for you both on this production period to kind of elucidate and clarify for people like what it's all about. So Lucie, first of all, can you introduce how did you come to the school? What's your nationality, and what attracted, I guess, you to the department? Yeah.
Okay, so I'm coming from France, but I am in the international department because I wanted to work with an international crew, and also it was important for me to work in an English-speaking environment. So I just came to school because I wanted to make film, and so my major now is directing. I'm a last year, and so I made 1 short film last year.
Right. And Ignace?
For me, I studied business before coming here, and I always wanted to go in the film business. So for me, it was, I don't know, an easy decision.
Right.
And from what I saw from my researches, EICAR was one of the most practical, like hands-on programs. Right. That's what I like the most.
And in 3rd year, what have you chosen as your specialization? You were production manager for Lucie on this project,
I'm still a production major.
So you're a production major.
Yes.
Fantastic. So we'll talk a little bit about that in a second.
Sure.
So one of the first questions is about writing. Like this film that we're about to see, at the end of this little question and answer period, you have the chance to see the film called Her Time, which is Lucie's 2nd year project. How was the film in terms of the writing process? Did you prepare it in your writing class, and then you got the okay from your production teacher? How does it work to kind of be approved to get to shoot it?
Yeah, so the way it works is that there's a green light committee, and so all of the students who want to direct a film write a script, and then it is a script that is written in class and supervised by the teacher. And then, so we work on it like a few weeks, and then eventually, so we present it, we have to pitch it in front of a jury, and then they decide if yes or no your project is green light, and then after that we start the official production period.
And did the screenwriting teacher initially give you some pointers like, oh, it would be good to not have animals in this or do it at night? Were you kind of guided as to first of all, the parameters is it's got to be a 6-minute film, is that right, narrative film?
Yeah, for 2nd year, it's 6-minute maximum length. And yeah, I mean, we have some constraint, like not having, I don't know, action chase scene or some stuff like that we could not do. So, but beyond that, we're kind of free to write whatever we want. And for my experience, for example, I actually wrote pretty late because I had another script before in December, but in the end, turns out that I was not happy with it, so I rewrote something else different, and then it worked well. So you can, if you have a last-minute idea, you can still make it.
Right.
It's like it's also possible.
And are you working on something, even though you're a production specialization, are you working on a script this year to potentially be green-lighted?
I'm not.
Okay.
No.
So you're heavy now into production.
Yeah, exactly.
So how did you two kind of decide to work together? I think one thing students are curious about is how do the crews happen? Like how do you decide on your crew? Did you have a chance to see Ignace's work beforehand in your class and decide to work with him? How does that work?
Well, you're very free to choose whoever you want to work with. It can be people from your class or outside of your class, and it can also be people from the French department. And this is what I did. Like I knew in my class who was interested in what. For example, in cinematography, also who's good at. And I think what's important is also to work with people who you trust, really, and who it's easy to talk with.
And did you find in cinematography class that you had a chance to a little bit like see how Ignace works, and on exercises you kind of had a chance to work together prior?
I mean, I knew that Ignace is into production, so it was easy for me. And then the thing is, what happened is that I had someone else doing the production for the beginning of my film, and then I had to change sometimes it happens.
Sure.
So I asked Ignace, and he was available. And it just jumped right on, so it was great. It was like 3 weeks before the shoot, and I couldn't have really made it without him.
And how many films did you work on in production period besides your own, the directing?
Yeah, for myself, I did 5 other films.
Right.
I think there's a minimum of 3.
Yeah.
But I think also there's a big difference between when you direct your own film and when you're not directing,
right,
in terms of involvement and what you have to do. So people in general who don't direct, they can work on as many as 10 films maybe.
Right.
Oh.
And did you work on that many films? Did you do production manager on a lot?
I did. I was production manager on 4 films last year, but then I worked other jobs on like 6 other films.
Right.
So yeah, we have
lighting perhaps, or
no.
Okay.
I did location manager.
Okay.
I did PD and PA.
Let's talk about location management and production management on Lucy's film. What were the challenges of Lucy's film? Did you find your location fairly early on? Was it easy to secure?
No, not really. Our location manager at first started working and everything, but the thing is he didn't speak French, and here in Paris it's kind of hard to communicate with people if you don't speak French.
Right.
So we didn't get a location until like 3 weeks or 2 weeks before the shoot.
The thing is, we had 2 locations for my film, and what happened is that when it was very short in time, I ended up asking people in my family, and they had what I needed for the film, like
they had a house or an apartment.
Yeah, an apartment, and the 2 locations were more or less exactly what we needed in terms of set design and everything. So yeah, 1 month, 3 weeks before the shoot, we had the locations ready, and then we would start having technical scout, and so it was nice.
So in Paris, you can either find a private location where you have to ask the owners and get permission, or you have a public location in which you have to negotiate with the mayor's office.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have to get
How
permission.
much in advance do you have to go to the mayor's office?
I would say as early as you can. Like we needed 1 permit because at some point for one of the location we had to put lights outside. On the street. So do it minimum a month or 3 weeks before. Because if it's too late, you won't have the answer.
They say it usually takes a week to get the permit. But it never takes a week. Like administration here is,
and that's why it's important to, I guess, in pre-production, try to do some of your location scouting, and at least enough to be able to do the due diligence early enough to get there.
Exactly.
The challenge, I guess, is meeting the shoot dates that are assigned to you, right? Because once you're approved, you get shoot dates.
Yeah.
Did your production teacher kind of go over permitting and some of the papers that you need to sign for getting a location?
We took that in our first year.
Okay. A little bit.
Honestly, very, very briefly.
Okay.
But she did help us last year. I mean, she did it by her own, but the process honestly is very easy. It's you have one website and you just fill it in, and that's about it. It's pretty easy.
How many days did you have to shoot the film? I mean, the final film is about 6 minutes. I understand that you kind of shot footage enough to maybe make an 8-minute or film. How many days did you have to shoot it?
Well, we were lucky because officially it was given second year 3 days, but we kind of had 4 days.
An extra one.
Because the thing is, we were checking out in the morning, and so we used that day to shoot. But because we were very quick, so it worked.
Okay. Did you find it just in time to get all the footage, or you had a little margin of long lunches and things like that? Was it enough time, do you think?
No, it was just exactly
enough.
what we needed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how, I'm curious, basically, who supervised the set? Like, during the production period, so you're out there, you're on location, you've prepared it, you know, you've permitted it, you run it by the teachers. Who's out there on set with you? Do you have visits from professors?
Yeah, we did have just 2 teachers went to see us.
They come by to check if everything's
is okay.
going
and
good,
I guess the main thing that they don't like hover over your shoulder and second guess your directing. They're more for making sure that the set is being run well, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
People are there that are supposed to be there.
Yeah.
In a way, we'd say that it's kind of like a final exam. It's like, you know, you have the set and that's well run. You have the production file that has to be delivered and the cut. How much time did you use for editing, and who was your supervisor for editing?
So Sean is the head teacher in editing.
Sean Cullen.
Cullen. And so, I mean, you have 1 week to give the first assembly right after the shoot. And then after that, you're pretty much free, but let's say maybe you have 1 month, 2 months production, I mean, to edit, and then another month to do the mix.
Right.
So, but yeah, you can be faster than that if you work as, I would suggest, if I can, just to say, like, yeah, don't wait to edit your film. Like, do it. Do it
as soon as you can.
Yeah, as soon as you can. Yeah.
Did you get feedback? Like, for instance, I know during the editing period, not during your first cut, maybe it was during the holidays, so there was not a lot of people. But we had that screening, I think, just prior to you maybe mixing. Or did you find that helpful to have the teacher's feedback on the initial cut to sort of get it down or do some last-minute changes?
Yeah, definitely. I think we need to have feedbacks because when you're alone with the editor, I mean, you know, you are in your own bubble and you need to have exterior point of view on your work. So it is really helpful, and yeah.
Even if it's by the end of the process, it's still in the process. So. Like, we're still learning.
It's the end, but I think the point about film is that it's a marathon, and even voiceover can make or break the movie, or last-minute color corrections, or decisions about the mix. All of it are choices that affect the movie. So you've got to be 100% all the way. Yeah,
it's not done until it's done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then, how did the screening go for your film? You screened it at the graduation? No, at the second year screening.
Oh yeah.
How was it received?
Well,
it's very well received. Like,
there was like, I mean, for the non-graduate films, there's a little vote from the students, and we won.
Nice. Well, I know personally, I've seen the film and gave you some feedback, and I'm really happy with the work you did in the final stretch, the post-production. I mean, people can see the film right after this question and answer, and see some of the work that you did. And your director of photography, what was the name of your director of photography? Tio. And how much did you discuss a lot with Tio about the look prior? Did you have a lot of meetings?
Oh yes, we did a lot of meetings. I mean, it was really. I worked with the editor and the DP. Yeah, like 2 months before, and we planned everything because, I mean, it was really a creative talk, like how we're gonna shoot, what was the vision, it's the look, and also we discussed all the shots, you know, so that on set we knew exactly what to do, and there was no time wasted.
Well, I want to thank everyone for this open house. Now you're going to see Lucy's film, and are there any, right before we see the film, are there any sort of comments you want to tell the audience before we project it?
Well, it's a great experience to be able to make a film within the school. I would suggest, like, if you want to make film, just like get into the rules, even maybe if you think you want to do a bit different, but in the end it will help, and it's just the greatest opportunity within the film school, yeah. Great. Well, here we are with her film, Her Time, Lucy's film.